Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 42nd episode of Slime Time, an official Dragon Quest Dragon's Den podcast. This is Liamland.
This is Bluestar.
This is Bururian.
And this is Pendy.
We completely missed the opportunity there to do some barbershop quartet. We got four voices. But anyway, I don't know if I would be able to sing right now anyway. If my voice sounds like I was doing karaoke last night, it's because I was doing karaoke last night. Anyway, we've got an exciting yet bittersweet episode for you today. Sadly, at the end of the month, we'll be saying Sayonara to Quest of the Stars. This is our special Father's Day episode where we say bye-bye to a beloved game in the franchise.
And we have two guests we'd also like to feature on this episode, Miel and Liquid Metal Slime.
This will be a bit of an untraditional guest experience, as our new party members are European and don't speak English as their first language. But, so because of this, they were unable to lend their voices for this episode. But that won't stop us from featuring their love of Dragon Quest and their friendship that we have come to appreciate through today's game of discussion.
Voicing Liquid Metal Slime will be Pendy.
And voicing Miel will be Bluestar.
All right. So, Miel and Liquid Metal Slime are new to the DQ Slime Pime podcast. So let's check in with them on how they both got into Dragon Quest and what their first game was.
So I'll be doing the voice of Liquid Metal Slime. I'll be doing the voice like this. But not really. Right, like, so
yeah, let's not do that.
They'll never want to come back.
Virtually.
So from Liquid Metal Slime, he said, I had some background with the old Dai anime and Dragon Quest VIII, but I didn't actually become engaged with Dragon Quest until the 4 remake on DS. The Dragon Quest 4 through 5 combo blew my teenage mind. I knew by the end of Dragon Quest V that I would become a huge fan, and I did.
All right, so how about Miel?
So Miel says, because I am European, I saw Dragon Quest IX advertisements on the TV back in 2010, releasing about a couple months prior to my birthday, and this is what I eventually got for it. Unfortunately, Europe did not get any Dragon Quest released besides 9, 8, and spin-offs, and I eventually got Rocket Slime 2. I still spend a lot of time on DQ9 as it is my favorite game. I ended up hacking my consoles to play imported versions of other games in the series.
Nice. I wonder if the advertisement that Miel references was the Seth Green commercial. Did that play in Europe, do you know? Or do they have their own?
That's a good question.
Oh, they had somebody. I wonder if, I know the UK had somebody else. They had some other famous or somewhat famous star that did their commercials. So I don't know if they got the one they got in the UK or somebody else.
So
entirely.
If that is the case, then there may be another one floating around, like on YouTube, a European version of the ad. That would be an interesting thing to actually research.
That'll be an interesting thing to look up.
Yeah. But, I mean, either way, it might be easier to just ask Miel if it was the Seth Green commercial. So we don't have to start Googling like that.
Yeah.
She'll respond on the forums, probably.
Probably.
Cool.
But, so do you have, for Miel, do you have any favorite monsters in the series?
Miel says, I would say the slime stacks, but I'm also torn between sanguinis and fire spirits, which are very good choices in Bluestar's opinion.
Yeah, you know what, those are, I like those a lot. How about Liquid Metal Slime?
A Liquid Metal Slime responds, I'll let you take a guess. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, so what are your favorite mini games within the Dragon Quest series?
So Liquid Metal Slime responds, I would have to say Lucky Panel from Dragon Quest VII. You don't actually get huge amounts of casino coins in this one, but I loved it because it's relatively easy and you can get a good amount of great armor by the time you first reach each panel location. And this is Pendy talking. In my own personal opinion, I would also agree. I wish they would bring that game back. I love that game in Dragon Quest VII as well.
I actually don't think I've ever come across this, but so that's interesting to me. I don't think I've ever seen Lucky Panel because I always go straight to the slot machines.
Oh, it's like a memory guessing game. It's very simple, but you get some good items. You get
like
monster hearts and stuff too.
It's the one in Super Mario 3?
Yeah, similar-ish.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
Which is matching cards. It's like, ooh, here's a heart. Oh, gotta match another heart. Hopefully it's here.
All right. Cool.
And for this question, Miel says that she can't really think of any mini-games that are her favorite, but I, Bluestar, am going to speak for her and say that the King Splash game in Dragon Quest of the Stars Casino is probably one of her favorites, just because that was how she unlocked Gadabout, which was her favorite vocation. She spent a week legitimately grinding on this machine to get 1 million casino tokens to unlock the vocation. And she is the only person I know of who did it without any sort of auto clicker or letting it run overnight. types of things. She was able to game the system and figure out, hey, if I do this, I'm more likely to get a jackpot, and there's actually a guide that she wrote up on the Den. So it's really fascinating, and she put in a lot of work towards it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's not easy to do at all, because I played the casino a lot myself, and I wasn't even close. I got to buy some items and a few bits of other gear that they had, but yeah, that's how she did that was amazing.
I don't think I peaked 200,000 coins in the casino in my time there, but man, to make it to 1 million, that's impressive.
Yeah, and she did it within the span of like a week and a half.
Jesus.
All right, moving on to the Quest of the Stars discussion. Bluestar, what were your favorite memories of the game?
So my favorite memories of the game, actually, it would probably be the very first time that I was doing random multiplayer missions and I found Woodus. My brother actually didn't believe me that I had actually found him, and I showed him a picture from the Den Facebook that, hey, this is actually him. And I was so incredibly starstruck. It's a little embarrassing. But that was actually the day that I went on and actually made my forum account. I didn't actually go through and read anything or post anything until probably 3 or so months later. That was in late July. But that was when I saw the link to Bururian's Discord, and the rest is history. So honestly, the multiplayer in this game has brought me so many great friendships and great opportunities to learn and talk about the series, and I literally would not be here without this game.
Cool. How about Miel's favorite memories?
All right, so Miel's favorite memories were the overall excitement when a banner was announced and everyone got a bit of everything. She remembers this happening in December when they announced the first 11 pull Lucky Chest banners for Rubus, Zenith, and Golden Dragon. She vividly remembers farming a ton of gems to specifically get Rubus Fan, which I eventually got, while everyone cheered her up for trying. There's also a part of the game where she could play with a lot of people throughout her empty days. It made her feel better, and she liked the Final Fantasy crossover, and it was a lot of fun playing with friends at that event. She enjoyed making the best of what she had at the time, because while she was not the person with the best equipment, it was fun figuring out ways to make battles work with what she got, compared to many players that used to have amazing things but still failed at the game. I can definitely attest to that Miel was a trooper with the gear that she had, and she was always so fun to play with her sort of off-the-wall strategies, trying to get things together.
How about Liquid Metal Slime?
So LMS says, picking one was hard because I really, really enjoyed my time with the game. However, I'm going to pick this one. When we first beat Fiend Estark with Angel, Erdrick, and Bluestar. That felt so good. Doing Fiend difficulty fights with the gang was so much fun. I loved every single one we did, even the ones we didn't win. Reading recommended strategies, the resistances, skill types we needed to bring, and gearing up with the best we had, then preparing the items and food to bring, and then the thrill of a tough fight while texting through Discord. Magic experience, in my opinion. A huge shame the majority of the DQ OTS players never got to experience this. Oh yeah, and getting that sweet Zenithian sword awakening.
Nice. Pendy, how about you?
So for me, I love discovering the Dragon's Den multiplayer community with the Discord. It was also right around the time I upgraded my phone. Previously, I was using an older phone that would crash the game constantly mid-battle, so I didn't try and do a lot of live, coordinated multiplayer battles. With this upgraded phone, I was able to avoid that and get in on the fun with everyone else. It was great timing. So it was so much fun doing those, like for example, those Chocolate Tank, Valentine's event runs, and others like it with the Discord game. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, those were fun.
Those were fun. Pendy, do you remember when Miel would use reverberating light on both of us, and we'd just absolutely melt the tank with fireballs and cross slash?
Oh yeah. She would. That was so helpful. Yeah, and then we kind of double our best skills and just destroy it. It's great.
That sounds delicious.
Shoot all the fireballs.
Melting chocolate tank.
Oh yeah.
Bururian, how about you?
So for me, I would probably have to say, really, the Discord itself, because I originally created the Discord off of making multiplayer matches with people from the forums themselves, but not having to sit on a forum and refresh waiting for a reply. we had a smaller Discord going at the time, to where it was me and Glaceon, and two other people from the Discord. I think Oust was one of them, and then there was a fourth. Can't remember his name at the moment. But the owner of the Discord deleted it, so I made a new Discord.
Oh.
We all joined in. It was about this month last year, and kind of got a small community going. Basically, everybody here that plays Liquid Metal, Angel, probably about a dozen other people that I wish I could name, but I'm bad with remembering names. But for me, it was bringing a lot of a community together to enjoy the game for multiplayer matches. But for me personally, one of my favorite moments had to have been when they did the Final Fantasy crossover, because the Warrior of Light is one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters, and the chance to get his armor was like huge excitement for me. I never got all of it. I think I got the shield and I got the top, but that was about it. I didn't get the helmet or the bottoms, but it was enough. The shield was pretty great too. It was a pretty great piece of equipment.
Nice.
But yeah, creation of the Discord is probably my number one thing about the game.
Cool. Mine, I didn't get into multiplayer battles with the Den as much as I did with like the random folks on the that you'd find in the multiplayer community. But I think my favorite memory of the game was definitely getting the Falcon Blade, because I fought really hard for that.
You did from day one.
Yeah, for about like 6 straight months, and then I got it, and I was like, all right, well, I'm done. And then I kind of put it down for a while.
Yeah, I remember on the original episode that we did for Dragon Quest of the Stars, when it was brand new, and even, back then, February of 2020, you were like, how do I get this blade? I have to get this. I want this.
Yeah, it was.
And I remember seeing you on all the Facebook groups going, hey, how do you get this sword? How do I get this? Like, you were really gunning for that sword.
Oh yeah, that was my ultimate homage to Dragon Quest IX, is getting the Falcon Blade. And then I got it, and I was like, it's okay, all right.
It's great. It's great when you first join the game, because of the dual hit it does. But
yeah, but after a while,
things get overtaken very easily.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I had the God hand sword or something like that. The
Battle God sword.
Battle God sword. Yeah, that was it. And that became my strongest sword, and then I amped that up. I souped that up, and then I couldn't. Anything else. Like when I got the Falcon Blade, I just handed it to like Sand or one of my support characters, and I was like, all right. But yeah, it was more about the pursuit of the Falcon Blade than actually getting it.
The real treasure was the friends we made along the way.
But I didn't, because I didn't find you guys. I didn't find the Discord until after I was done playing. But anyway, so what were your favorite events, Bururian? Let's start with you.
Favorite events, I think I already mentioned it. My top one was the Warrior of Light crossover event to get his armor and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I also really enjoyed the Dragon Quest III event. That was, for me, that was the big one coming in, because I knew they were going to start rolling through doing, all of the different games and all of their events. But for me, Dragon Quest III was great. And it was even better when they brought it back around a second time, and then a third time, and then COVID hit, and a fourth time. So...
All right, Liquid Metal Slime. Let's go with.
So from LMS, he says, I really like the Dragon Quest VI event because it used our characters' 3D models for the first time in an event. I like the Final Fantasy event too, first because of the grid. Context, it's kind of similar to skill panels in Dragon Quest XI, but you've got items, sigils, accessories instead of skills. And secondly, because it was the event that was available when I first joined the server.
Aww.
Yeah, I liked the whole grid system for that event, and you would earn event currency to unlock specific grids, and so you could kind of make your own path of the order of progression on what you wanted to earn item wise. So it wasn't just hey, hit 50 currency, you get this, hit 100, you get that, hit 150, like that. You could just kind of weave your own path on it.
Yeah, I liked how they did that a couple of times, and it was fun to kind of figure out it's all hidden for the most part. Some you could see, but it was like it was fun to discover, like, oh, I found this, or oh, I found that, or if I go this way, I think I'll get this kind of skills, or this way I'll get these kind of accessories. It was fun.
Yeah, and they also had the mechanic where there were some locked panels that you needed to basically unlock 4 panels surrounding it before you were able to select that panel. So it was cool to, yeah, just like an 11. So those were usually the more better the better items that were more valuable.
Yes.
Cool. So how about Miel?
So Miel says, while I joined fairly late in the game's life, my favorite events are more skewed towards the later events. One of them was the Chinese New Year. There weren't specific battles and quests related to it, but I enjoyed the excitement of every day having a chance to get gems, and the Cheongsam attire is my favorite still. I really liked the Valentine's event because it was an event where you obtained gifts that you would share to your friends' list. You could also see who gave you gifts each day and turn those gifts into materials, keys, or items. I also really liked the Valentine's Day event, speaking as Bluestar. Just the ability to actually give things to your friends was so exciting.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Especially because, you know, my favorite part of the game was having friends and playing with friends. The Chinese New Year gem gacha was also interesting because it was every day you'd get a ticket and you'd have the ability to earn anywhere from 100 to I think 5,000 gems. So a lot of people got really lucky and got a lot of good things out of it. I was not one of them, but it was definitely exciting.
Yeah, neither was I. But I got so much slime chocolate out of the Valentine's event, and if for reference, like you use slime chocolate to get more experience, especially if you did like the metal enemy events to grind levels. So I got so much out of that. It was great.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. And the liquid metal slime chocolate gave you even more.
Oh yeah, it was like
I
a 50%
maxed out
boost.
that event and got all of it. It was great.
Nice. My favorite event was I think the Dragon Quest V event, where you choose a wife just like in the game, and then they give you things, or they give you some sort of upgrade or something before each round, and when you start a round in battle, I forget exactly what they give you some kind of boost in the beginning. I picked Nira. They also hang out in your multiplayer tavern while you're waiting for folks to join. Which is atypical for the regular multiplayer screen where you just see the characters joining at the tavern background. Now you'll see either Bianca or Nero walking around in the background, which I thought was really cool.
Or Deborah, if you're into that.
I forgot.
No.
So the other interesting thing, when they reran the Dragon Quest V event, they actually added the option where you could dress up the girl that you pick in gear that you have.
Oh wow! I totally
so
missed
you
that.
could then so you could then change her outfit to be whatever you want, which could get a little creepy, but for the most part it was good.
A lot of divine bustiers were worn that event.
Nice. Did you give them weapons?
Bustier was never released.
That was a joke.
Okay. No, you could not give them weapons.
All right. I was going to say like Nira equipped with the Falcon Blade.
In your dreams, maybe.
Bluestar, how about you?
So my favorite events were the teachings events, and essentially what that was is you would each different vocation had its own dungeon that would drop its own teaching books that would give you extra skills or abilities. And the nice thing is that each specific vocation dungeon would give a 5 times experience boost to that specific vocation. So it was amazing for grinding experience and leveling up. And that was honestly, I think, the time that the server was the most active and we were farming the most. So that was the time that we were able to spend the most as a group, and the first one wasn't too long after I joined for the first time. So it was all really exciting, and it was just fun to keep going through missions and slowly getting higher leveled that you could actually see the progress.
Nice. Pendy, how about you?
So I also really liked getting the Final Fantasy crossover event. I think it was a crossover with the mobile Final Fantasy game called Final Fantasy Dimensions. It was fun. It was a lot of fun to get the Final Fantasy VII Buster Sword, the big ass sword that Cloud gets. My character looked so goofy swinging it around. I like having it because in the game too, if you remember, like you could equip something else, but then keep the image of something else. So I could be equipped with the with the Urgic sword, something I could pronounce better. You could pick the Urgic sword, but then you could have your character still have the animation for the Buster sword. So I liked how you could do that in the game. So I often had the Buster sword since it was so big and goofy looking. There's a lot of good gear that came out of that event. I also love the Dragon Quest IV events because that's one of my favorite Dragon Quest games just in general. So battling Dragon Quest IV bosses, interacting with the characters from that game, and getting DQ4 gear was really cool. The side events that involved all the various Dragon games were a lot of fun. They got inventive with it sometimes. As Liam, as you pointed out, for example, Dragon Quest V, you got to pick a wife to adventure with. I went with Deborah the first time around. Or in Dragon Quest VII, you would win puzzle shards that would unlock other missions, similar to unlocking other parts of the world, like in the original game. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So the Final Fantasy crossover was actually with a game called Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia.
Oh, okay.
Which
really rolls off the tongue.
I don't know
Yeah.
anything about it other than that, but it was cool.
Dissidia. It's a Dissidia mobile game, so.
Because at the same time as we had the crossover event in Stars, they also had a crossover event on their side. I think ours was much more in depth, which was cool. But
yeah, I think they just got stickers on their side, from what I remember hearing about it. They got like Dragon Quest stickers or something. That shows how much I know about it. I didn't even have the right name of the game.
No. Final Fantasy Dimensions, that is a mobile Final Fantasy game that's never been released elsewhere, but it came out like 11 years ago. So that would be funny if they did a crossover on it a decade after the fact.
I do remember the fragments in the Dragon Quest VII event when they were first introduced. I was like, oh man, this is really neat. And then, like 5 minutes later, I was like, okay, this is kind of a pain. Having to replay levels in order.
That's what the game was like.
Welcome to shard hunting in Dragon Quest VII.
Yeah, that's what the game is like. It was authentic.
It was. I feel like I should like Dragon Quest VII more than I do, but we'll leave that there.
Yeah, I did notice that some other people were annoyed by that it wasn't like the straight up missions that they had before. It's like, I gotta keep going back and forth and get these shards and blah. But I liked it. It was different. It was kind of a different way to go through those levels, and I liked how it was kind of an original way of going through everything instead of just going through straight up missions.
Don't get me wrong, it was incredibly true to the game. I was just a little bit annoyed.
You who liked XP farming was annoyed by shard hunting?
Yeah. Is that weird?
So the next topic that we'll go to is things that we will miss from the game. Hey, Pendy, let's start with you. Okay, Pendy. So for me, I'll miss the community and my characters. I had 3 characters max revocated them 3 times as a battle master, sage, and superstar. My main character was named Pendy, of course, and then the other 2 were named after my wife and my cat Chester. I was actually to the point that I almost had 3 other classes max revocated, the Pirate, Paladin, and Armamentalist classes. I was only about, 20 to 30 levels away from achieving that. Go ahead.
If I could just interject, was your wife the sage or the superstar, or was your cat the sage or the superstar?
Oh, my cat was a superstar, and my wife was a sage.
Just checking.
Most of all, though, I'm going to miss all the events we could have gotten. I was really interested in playing the Dragon Quest VIII and Dragon Quest XI events that would have eventually come here, but sadly that will never be. I'll also miss Cuthbert. He was this side character that would show up for side missions in the story mode. And he'd tell everyone to seize your dreams every time you'd meet him. And he'd send you on these mostly wild goose chases for extravagant treasure that he had a hot tip about. I don't know why, but he cracked me up every time. His unique character design with the poofy hair and the cape was great, too.
Oh, that guy. I love that guy.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Near the end of it, he also got married, and the interactions between those 2 were hilarious. He was terrified of his wife, so those were funny. But in the end, of course, I'll miss this Discord community the most. Not that I'm going away from the Discord, but just the fact of us being able to, play together, using the Discord. It seems like I just got started there, but then the game was sadly shut down not too long afterwards. But I did meet a lot of great people through my interactions there, and I still go there every day. So with that, let's go with Liquid Metal Slime, and he says, the community. Those evenings doing MP with the gangs were so much fun. I know some of us will still be playing the Japanese version of the game in the foreseeable future, but most won't, and I'll miss those folks. I will still be in touch with some of the friends I made through the game, but yeah, not being able to play this game with them anymore will be missed. Miel, let's go with Miel next.
All right, Miel says, I already missed the interactivity I once used to have to play this game and with many people. I will greatly miss my accomplishments and all the quests I did with others on the multiplayer function, like my character, my setups, and my badges. I was probably the only one to put a lot of work towards the Gadabout vocation and got the badges for it, which are extremely rare. 100, 1,000, 10,000 quests done with Gadabout, and get 3 Gadabouts to level 99, which, sidebar from Bluestar, a Gadabout getting to level 99 requires 7.77 million experience.
Wow. Even getting the Gadabout is that's an accomplishment in and of itself.
So she
Yeah,
revocated it 3 times?
You can Gadabout is a basic vocation, so it actually can't revocate.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So something else. Miel says something else is the localization, and while it was decent at best, it gave us a glimpse at all the weapons, equipment, and items that were never translated beyond English. This game had almost all the equipment from all of the series games, and if it had continued service, we would have been able to see that. I really enjoy the lore and world building behind games, and Dragon Quest of the Stars proposed a unified world for the series, and I was excited to see how they would develop it. For example, Dragon Quest VI characters mentioning that they come from another planet, or Rubus implying that she is the creator of a world, but not all of them.
Yeah, going back to the
That's
Gadabout, I don't know if you remember, but she had multiple accounts. So she had multiple accounts with Gadabouts. So that's how she had like 3 of them.
Oh, wow.
Actually, no. I don't think her second account had Gadabout. This was only her
really?
first account. And yeah. I think she was working on it at the time, but it wasn't her top priority. Her second account was more for extra pulls and filling a spot in multiplayer when we didn't have enough people around.
Oh, so she
Did
did 3 characters that got the Gadabout up to 99. Oh, I got it. Now I'm
Yes, she got all 3 of her characters up to 99.
Gotcha.
Did they make Gadabout easier to get after a while? I understand that you had to get
No.
a ton of casino
No.
coins.
I was going to say the only easier way to get it was to subscribe to a Stars Pass, because then it would discount the Gadabout coins needed down to about 750,000. But that's still a lot.
That's still a lot, yeah.
Yep.
That's funny. Do you think it would be a stronger class too than?
It's totally a meme class, but Miel loved it.
Well, I mean, the biggest advantage
the class
was
itself has a ton of luck, so so luck as a stat in the game, visibly it only affects drops at the end of multiplayer. There's like some lucky chests that you can get depending on the luck values of each of the party members, but something weird was going on with Gadabout whenever you had one in your party, just the monsters in general would drop way more stuff. And it never said that this was because of the Gadabout or because of a luck stat.
That makes
We
sense.
kind of feel like that was the case. So
Yeah, that
it's kinda
seems
like
like it would be the case.
It was kind of like having the merchant class in Dragon Quest 3, like that. You just naturally got a lot of stuff. So that was invaluable when you're trying to farm multiplayer. It was great.
Cool. Yeah, I mean,
Liam,
the multiplayer and friend party member was pretty fun in this because I enjoyed the co-op style where other players and friend party members having higher levels is an advantage to you as opposed to you like in it was like the more player versus player in Dragon Quest Monsters Super Light where you're just getting trounced in battles by whales and just people with like massively high levels.
I don't miss that about Stars.
I remember that too, and I think in Dragon Quest Tact, the other mobile game that's out in English right now, the arena that they built for that, where you fight other people's teams, but it's AI and not actually them, and the way they set it up is a lot better than how it was in that other game. Because I remember that too, just getting trounced. It's much easier in the way they do it in Tact, which is great.
Yeah. Bluestar, how about you?
Oh, where do I even start with this? I haven't written anything on our script because I just can't find the words. Obviously the multiplayer is going to be one of them, and yeah, there are a lot of people that are moving to the Japanese server, but it's just not going to be the same, man. I'm also really going to miss the specific items that I had in my English version account. Like my sage weapon was a great sage's staff with dual kafrizzle. So whenever I talk about raining fireballs down and melting chocolate tanks, that's what I'm talking about. I had a lot of fire skills on my account. The other thing that I'm gonna miss is my I recently, since the game shutdown was announced, I recently got a golden dragon spear, which has a special ability that's like a power up that lasts for a couple of turns and it unlocks another skill. But when I activate it, it actually looks like I'm going Super Saiyan and it makes my hair turn white, which is really freaking sick.
That's awesome.
And it's just so cool. And yeah, maybe I'll get it one day in the Japanese server, but like there's no way to sort of affect that.
Yeah.
So people are who played in the English version are now switching over to the Japanese version and starting over.
Correct.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a testament to how much people love and will miss this game if they're willing to do that.
And Blue, I remember you had multi-heal too. That was always very helpful in our multiplayer.
Yes,
fans.
I had double multi heal.
So what about you,
Right.
Bururian?
Well, I mean, playing with friends, most definitely. Like I said earlier, I started the Discord up so we could play with other people, and it was great for a while. I loved having dozens of people come in. Everybody was excited to hop into multiplayer games because we could roll into the channel and just be like, hey, I'm doing multiplayer, and you'd have 8 people go, hey, what's the password? And you would just get going. And I remember playing multiplayer for hours. We'd run through our stamina as the host, then we'd switch off to somebody else, since the only person that had stamina used was the host of the multiplayer mission. So you would just rotate hosts to keep it going, and we would do dozens and dozens of missions at a time in multiplayer. I'm going to miss that a lot. It won't be the same going back to Japanese. I've thought about it. I actually played Japanese Dragon Quest of the Stars for about 8 months to a year when it was still Japanese only. And once they announced it coming to English, I dropped my Japanese account, which I could probably download and pick back up. I probably had some pretty sweet gear on it. But yeah, it just won't be the same. It won't be the same.
Definitely. And just with the multiplayer, and like you said, with Dragon Quest Monsters Super Light, where you're just getting trounced in PvP, there's like multiplayer co-op. Just there needs to be more of that in Dragon Quest. It's tricky with because like it exists in Dragon Quest Builders 2 or Dragon Quest Heroes 2, but it's a little bit clunkier, and we were hoping for some sort of revival of it with the Dragon Quest IX remake, but then that ended up not getting announced. So it's sad that this type of multiplayer is going away.
Yeah, while we are reminiscing on what we will miss about it, what are some things that we won't miss about this game? And let's start with Liquid Metal Slime.
So this is LMS. He says, Cyril and the half-assed translations in both Spanish and English. For some reason, in the Spanish translation, they call the metal slime ice cream metal slime earrings. It makes no sense.
Yeah, some of the translation was very, I don't know the right word. It was very interesting on some of the stuff they chose. Like, what was one of them? Bird Song Nectar is what it was in Dragon Quest of the Stars. Or no, it wasn't. It was supposed to be Bird Song Nectar, but they called it Chirping Honey or something like that.
Oh, so,
Yeah.
And sometimes, every once in a while, they'd forget to translate something. There was a couple of boss fights where the boss would say something and it just spit it out in Japanese. And there's no
Wow.
Okay, this is how we're rolling. Got it.
Yeah, there were several items. There were several common items I remember seeing in while playing. Is that a new is this like thinking? Is this a new translation for this item? Because at that point this was the newest game that had come out.
The one that sticks out the most is the Dragon Quest VI Legendary Shield. In the mobile port and in the DS game, it is translated as the Shield of Valora, but in Dragon Quest of the Stars, it was called Sufida's Shield.
Yeah, and this is run by a company out of Singapore, so I don't know how much prior experience they had before doing this.
You would have thought they would have been given a translation Bible on stuff like this, but
Yeah.
how about you, Bluestar? What are some things that you won't miss about the game?
You know, it
Shard
might
hunting?
be yeah, shard hunting. But they're not gonna replay those. So things that I'm gonna miss. See, with the
Things that you won't miss.
with I won't miss with that I won't miss. With the shutdown imminent, I have got big time rose-colored glasses on. So yeah. I definitely I don't know, man. I'm just gonna miss the game.
You're
Okay,
gonna
we'll
miss
cut the
pumping
Flaws
pauses
money.
and
out.
all.
You're gonna
We'll
miss
cut the
pumping
pauses
money
out.
into it. What about okay? So how about Miel? What is Miel not gonna miss about the game?
Alright, Miel says, the character of Cyril and the cat and mouse storytelling which Dragon Quest really doesn't deserve. The Lucky Chest banner rates used to be horrible, but they fixed it around New Year just to throw all these efforts away with the game shut down. I will not miss the horrible planning this game has had, as September and October had literally no events running.
Yeah, if there was one thing I would have to agree with Miel on, it's that because it just kind of felt like you were constantly on you were on the tail feathers of the story progress of you'd get there. Oh, they were just here, but now they're there, and you'd go there. Oh, they were just here, but now they're there, and then you would get spit out into fetch quests to continue on the main story. That was definitely one thing that I can agree with that I will not miss about main story progress.
I will say that is slightly better in the Japanese version because I can't read the story anyway. So I normally just skip all of it and I'm just like, okay, I'm going here now. I don't know why, but let's do it.
And as far as planning goes, they kind of, there was some misdirection where they could have done some things better, but they also got that wrench thrown at them, COVID, which shut them down for a couple months. So they had to repeat a lot of events that they weren't planning to do so in the beginning because they're just been working.
Leading into what I won't miss about it is precisely that, Pendy. I loved it when they did the Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 events, and I was excited when they were going to get to the 4 event, but I think they rolled everything too fast because the Dragon Quest 1 event was only like a week or two long, and then they go, Dragon Quest 2 is coming soon. And then they did the same thing there. It was like 2 weeks. And then Dragon Quest 3 is here. And then I guess they hit this wall of maybe they weren't allowed to release further events yet. We don't know what was going on the back end with planning. But then they go, hey, the Dragon Quest 1 event is coming back. And I was like, oh, okay, well, they didn't give us that long with it. This will be a great reprise. And then they did it for the second game. And then they did it for the third game. And then I think they did it like a third time.
That third time was just, somewhere along the lines, COVID, they literally shut down for a couple months, and a lot of the repeating came from that.
Yeah, because up to that point, I had spent all of my free time basically playing this game to get all of the gear and get all of the gear maxed out. Because I'm like, I don't want to miss this because it's never going to come back. And then it came back 2 more times.
Yeah.
So, and then further down the line, I'm not going to miss spider shields because I swear to God, that is all I ever pulled on any kind of pull I would do. I could do a 10 pull and I would get 4 spider shields in a pull. Like, I had the worst luck with that. Free pulls. One day I wrote it down. 16 days in a row, I got spider shields.
Oh no!
It made up for it though, because on the 17th time I got the Zenithian shield. So on my free pull.
There you go.
Spider shield, level up.
Yeah, seriously. But I won't miss the really bad pull rates for stuff because I would spend thousands and thousands and thousands of gems. I remember a couple of times I got the guaranteed 5 and then 1 guaranteed 4-star and then everything else would be 3 stars. And I'd be like, what am I doing now? I'm just putting myself through pain. But I feel like this also kind of bleeds into what Pendy thinks about it.
Oh yeah, that leads right into what I don't miss, which is the gacha rates. So for this game, I didn't mind putting down some money into this game, and it wasn't so bad most of the time. But man, sometimes those gacha rates were absolutely horrible. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think it was really that great until they did the year anniversary banners, which were really good. But of course, right after that, they announced that the game was shutting down, so that didn't work out so well. So I basically got all this amazing Rubis gear, for example, for basically nothing. Another thing I won't miss is dealing with the bots in multiplayer. That could be annoying too. I banned so many of them during my time with the game.
Oh,
Usually what I would do is I would do like a lower level event, and they would come into the room, I'd play with them, and then I'd ban them. Because that's the only way you could ban them, is if you actually played. So I got rid of a lot of them.
back when Glaceon was still playing, Glaceon called that kidnapping them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I never banned them, but what I would do is some early on it wasn't easy to tell who the bots were, but as time went on, it got easier and easier to tell. So whenever we would queue in and we'd be waiting on our fourth, so say it would be me, Pendy, and Blue, and then a fourth person would just pop in, high-end gear and everything. They don't say anything. They don't set their food, and we're all like, hey, set your food, and they don't do anything. I would just count to 10, and by 10 seconds, if they hadn't put anything, I would just kick them from the room.
Goodbye.
Wow.
I usually
All
wouldn't
right.
let them last that long. Whoops.
So
So,
those were
and I-
bots? Half the time those were bots?
Half the
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
There
Oh,
were
that's
a
amazing.
lot in the game.
I thought it was just like noobs. Because
Well,
Level
that's
399 noobs.
When they're
right.
3x revocated battle master wearing Rubus armor, and they come in and they don't say anything and they don't respond to anything, chances are
Yeah.
it's a bot.
Oh,
It's
that's
funny. It's
interesting.
also
But
funny
people
because
actually
it's mismatched high-end gear. So it'll be like Ragnar's mustache on a girl with a Rubus robe top and Erdrick armor bottoms.
Yeah, it would just be like whatever was optimized. I think there was
Oh,
like
hey,
an
sometimes I just do that for fun.
Yeah, right. So wait, who was writing bots for this game? Was that were they official bots or were they like
No,
fan
it was
Oh,
it
no.
was people who were I believe it was mostly the language that all of these bots were set to was Chinese.
Yeah.
So read into that what you will. But I think the goal was to build up these accounts and like level them up, get good gear, and then sell them.
Yeah, that's
So
exactly.
like
okay.
that's I believe pretty common in other gacha games, but
Mm.
obviously then this one didn't last that long. So
Yeah, and I only saw videos of this. I didn't actually experience it myself, but there were some people that would hack the game, and you would like join their party, and they would just like
Oh.
one hit kill all the bosses, and that would
yeah, they did
But
do
you-
that. I remember back before I was strong enough to beat the legendary bosses without dying, I did get sucked into a group that had a hacker in it, and like we beat the boss in one hit, and no one died, so I got the gems from the challenge, but I felt so dirty about it. I'm like, I was kidnapped and forced to commit a crime.
You were in fact kidnapped. So how about you, Liam? What
well,
goal
yeah,
do you
definitely
miss?
echoing what both you were saying, that the gacha rates are definitely one of I won't miss about any of the gacha games. And then, yeah, besides Cyril the Squirrel, I won't. I definitely won't miss Cyril the Squirrel.
I don't think anybody will, to be honest.
Yeah,
really.
my new. I guess my.
Gregory was great, but Cyril was not.
Yes.
No, yes.
What you were saying about the bots then, because yeah, it was frustrating to be host. I used to host a lot of multiplayer battles to get random folks to join up and take advantage of their higher levels. But yeah, there would always be that one character who was taking too long and not putting the right food combo. So yeah, they should have written their bots better to to not piss off the host or the other people, because then you'd have some really good players that kind of come in. You're like, oh, this is going to be great, and then they start shouting at the bot, and then they drop, and now you're just you and the bot. so so yeah,
The power of kicking was very important.
if I had
Yes.
known they were bots and not like I was literally fooled into, I was catfished. If I'd known, I was thinking like, oh well, maybe they're just new players, or they're not paying attention or whatever, and everyone should have the chance to play. I would have been booting left and right. Like, what's the standard? 10 seconds? If they don't have their food ready in 10 seconds,
Yep.
you boot them. So yeah, basically that.
All right, so what will everybody do next after the game shuts down? Pendy, how about you?
So I know some players are moving on to the Japanese version of the game, but personally, I don't have any interest in doing that myself. I'm just going to stick it out with Dragon Quest TAC, the other DQ mobile game we have out in English right now. I'm hoping it lasts longer than DQ OTS did. I also learned that I've enjoyed recruiting monsters for my party much more than collecting gear, so it's worked out.
All right. Right. So for me, I recently, probably almost a month ago now, I started playing the Japanese version of Dragon Quest of the Stars, and it's a lot of fun. Even though I don't understand most anything in the game, I do know most of the locations for things in the menu, so I can navigate it well enough. There are some skills that I'm like, I have no idea if this is good or not because I can't read it. So in the future, I might actually put in some of the effort to learn how to read some of it. Which this is closer than I have ever been to actually wanting to learn Japanese. But it's been a lot of fun. Just the idea that my characters can live on is comforting.
All right. How about Miel?
All right, Miel says, I am working towards giving some translation bits of the Japanese game and casually playing that version. While I arguably was the most active player around the den, the fact that the game is not targeted towards the Western audience pushes me away from getting myself dedicated to it, especially knowing that the community no longer exists to feel at home. We don't know how long Dragon Quest games last on mobile, but I do expect this game in particular to get shut off completely. Plus, my life got really busy compared to when I started out playing the game. So, we're happy that Miel's playing the Japanese version with us for now, but we'll see how long that lasts. How about you, Bururian?
So I have kind of flirted with the idea of going back to the Japanese version of the game again. I'm not. I'm still really on the fence about it. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm still kind of doing Tact right now, but I've been very loose about actually playing Tact. Like I was really big into it for the first couple of months. It was open, but I've kind of waned on it as I do with all mobile games after a while. But the question is, I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. Probably focus that energy back into some stuff for the Discord, since we'll have basically the major channel for the Discord has shrunk a significant base since half the people have quit playing, and then the other half have moved over to Japanese. So we'll kind of see where the future takes me.
Hopefully, still at the Discord. I actually didn't know you'd played the Japanese version beforehand.
No, I didn't. I didn't advertise it, and plus it was like 2018 that I was doing it. It was fun, but I didn't know what I was doing. I'll have to download my account to see what all I have, if I have anything good.
All right, and how about Liam?
I probably am not gonna pick up another gacha game. I'll try Die. But
That's coming out soon.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Die is coming out. Maybe Die is basically, from everything I've seen, it's going to be kind of in the same vein of gameplay as Stars was. Just Die instead of Dragon Quest in general.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Die seems to have more of an action RPG feel to it, but yeah, basically kind of collecting gear and stuff like
Yeah.
that. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's what I meant more, the gear collecting compared to Tact's recruiting monsters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the perspective looks like a little different too. It looks like you're kind of third person view. You're like walking. The camera's behind them and they're walking forward, almost like a Dragon Quest Swords style. But yeah, I mean, other than that, right now I'm in the post game for Caravan Heart, and I'm just collecting orbs and trying to find the Seer class so that I can make that a little bit easier. Because right now I'm just kind of I got the high sage. And I comboed that with the sage so I can get the return spell and I can hop around to the different towns now, but it's still kind of a slog to kind of find characters in the game. So yeah, you can hear more information on Caravan Heart from our Caravan Heart episode. That released, I think it was episode 40.
Shameless plug.
Yes, exactly. I got my wife to finally agree to a Switch, but with one caveat: it has to be the upcoming Switch Pro, whenever that actually releases. So hopefully, it actually releases before the Dragon Quest X events sunset.
That game isn't going anywhere for a while. Don't you worry.
All right, and finally, Liquid Metal Slime. What did he have to say?
So LMS says, I will be playing the Japanese version for a while. It's a very different experience, but in the end, it's the same game. And right now, it's the only DQ game in which I can collect cosmetic gear. Since playing Dragon Quest X is not easy for us Europeans.
Oh, and to point out for Liquid Metal Slime on his behalf. He is huge into basically the Dragon Quest IX thing of dressing up your party and everything. I think he ran a Tumblr for a while to where he was just doing cosplay of Dragon Quest of the Star stuff.
Yeah, he also has a Google folder that has basically screenshots of almost every full set in the game, or every one that he was able to get his hands on. And I guess in addition to that, so currently Liquid Metal Slime is also leading the Dragon Quest of the Stars preservation effort. So we're trying to collect screenshots and information and all of that kind of stuff for every item in the game, so that we can post it on the Den at some point to just sort of preserve, hey, this was a cool thing we had at one point. So he's been really great about doing that. It was actually something that I sort of started way back, I think it was October, that I first was like, I'm gonna write down all the numbers and names for all the equipment. But I got really busy with school, and he kind of took up that mantle, and I'm very grateful to him for that.
He's been doing a pretty great job with it.
So just a few final thoughts. So this game's cosplay features would be great for a Dragon Quest IX remake. I was just thinking, based on the discussions we were just having. I know we didn't get one at the 35th anniversary announcement. Sadly, there's a lot of things we didn't get there, and
Lots of tears.
Yes. Another shameless plug, if you'd like to go back and watch episode, I think it was 39, you can hear all of us crying into our mugs of tears. So yeah, I really think, I know that this game was inspired, the cosplay in this game was inspired by Dragon Quest IX in a lot of ways. Like even the character sprites are
very similar.
Look very similar, kind of upgraded graphically versions of the Dragon Quest IX. I think that it would be great to see some of more of those features put into a remake for Dragon Quest IX.
And they even did that for Dragon Quest XI to a certain extent, where for not for the original, but for the definitive edition, that feature where you could equip something but show something else for your character, which is really nice.
That costume slot is a godsend.
Especially with Platty, I'm sure appreciated that, so he could hide the main protagonist's hair. Which
yes, he's mentioned that a couple of times.
And I'm sure he'll mention it a couple more times.
The only thing I was sad about was that only works in the 3D version. In 2D, you don't get that costume slot.
That is true.
The other thing I wanted to mention is Bururian. Why do you think that Dragon Quest X is not going to be sunsetting soon?
It's on its 10th year. They're about to announce a new version. RPGs, MMOs in Japan generally don't shut down in like 2 years like they do here in the West. So, perfect example, look at Final Fantasy XI. Final Fantasy XI has been going since the PlayStation 2 era, and it is still going. And people are still paying to play this game. And it's a Square Enix MMO.
Do we know anything about the numbers that Dragon Quest X does, and does it continue to do that kind of revenue generating?
Considering that Dragon Quest is bigger in Japan than Final Fantasy, I would imagine that it does, but this is all hearsay.
Okay.
I would honestly say that it probably isn't going to be ending anytime soon. But that's just my perspective on it. It's one of the most popular video game series in Japan, and it has its MMO, and it's been going for 10 years.
Wow.
I imagine that if they wanted it shut down, it would have been done at this point.
Yeah.
But they literally just announced a new version, and they're like, hey, we're at our 10 years, here's a new version. So that leads me to believe that it's got some life left in it.
And the fact that they're doing that offline version of it, because that's unprecedented. I've never heard of an MMO being like, hey, you know what? If you don't like the online story, here's the offline story in a separate game. Like that's very different.
In a completely different style.
Yeah.
It's not like they just took the models and everything and reanimated them or something. They completely have remade version 1 for offline play.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, Platty had heard an interesting take on that from some of the folks, I think, at RP Gamer, who were talking about just the reason they were thinking that this is done in the chibi style was to appeal to kids in a way that the MMO wouldn't have been able to.
You know what? I can understand that perspective. That makes a lot of sense. Did we actually see any text in the game? Because if it wasn't if the all of the character text wasn't in kanji, I could believe that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a big clue for that. For sure.
Interesting.
Because if I'm remembering right, a lot of the Dragon Quest games in Japanese, well, you know, like the original releases, I've played some remakes to where there is kanji, but for the most part, they're in hiragana and stuff like that, so it's easier for kids to read it.
Cool. That makes it easier for me to to play a Japanese version, because that's the only thing I have some basic level of skill with. So we have an additional. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say one more final thought from me is that I probably could have included this probably in one of the earlier questions, but like I really enjoyed the character creation process of Dragon Quest of the Stars a lot, and I know a lot of other people did, Liquid Metal Slime specifically, but I enjoyed it so much. I, spent time designing my character, went through lots of different iterations of costumes before I kind of finally settled on something, since you could do the whole kind of make your armor look like something else. And I had my significant other create the other two characters for me. So she sat down and she went through and she made them for me as well. So there's a little bit of kind of sentimental value there. And I liked it enough that I actually commissioned Miel, who does pretty fantastic art, to do something for my main character, and I'm very happy with it.
That's been the trend recently. I had Miel, I commissioned Miel to do art of my character as well, and so did Liquid Metal Slime. It's a lot of fun. All of us are sporting them as our Discord avatars right now. It's amazing. She's amazing, and she's not here to be embarrassed about my gushing over how great she is, so I'm just gonna gush over how great she is.
She is.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Yeah, her art is so good. And the anniversary drawing that she did for the Discord, that was great as well.
Okay, so background on that. In the middle of the day, she was just like, I don't know, I think I'm going to do a doodle for the anniversary. And then 8 hours later, she comes back with that collage.
Yeah. And we're just like, oh, this is not a doodle.
That's amazing.
If you do want to see it, she has posted it in her art thread on the forums, so go there and check it out.
Yeah, I was also going to say we can maybe get links, or we can get pictures of that going in the YouTube version, if that's okay with Miel and with you guys.
We'll double check with her.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I would have to say my final thoughts for this game is I'm going to piggyback on what Bururian was talking about with the character creation. Like I mentioned before, like my main character was me, my other character I named after my cat, but my third character was named after my wife, and I modeled that character after her. And so like to get all the different cosplay things for all the different characters throughout my time playing with the game, I would send her pictures of it. Like she was like while I was in America and she was in South Korea, and be like, "Hey, honey, here's you in this outfit, and here's you in the Urgic gear, and here's you looking like this." And she loved it, and it was a fun little thing we did back and forth where I got to show her like the different costumes that I got to put her in throughout the life of the game.
Cool. So we have an additional testimonial from Denizen Martico. The hype we had could be depicted in this old message from Liquid Metal Slime. We were celebrating a delay due to apologems and surprise closure. It was a very unethical move, and I hope they don't make it again with DQ Tact or the upcoming Die game. But well, in the end, at least for me, I dropped here, invited by Liquid Metal Slime, and we've made a nice group in terms of the Discord. And I got to know many people due to that, and the Japanese version is better. So in the end, I don't really mind the closure. We were playing together again, so it paid off. So that's nice. So
yeah, the actual announcement was kind of a slap in the face.
Yep.
Because it was right after the anniversary. A lot of us had just put in a lot of money on the banners that were going for that. As the anniversary was ending, they were like, okay, we're gonna go into a maintenance. The maintenance got extended a little bit, which usually means, hey, you're gonna get a little bonus just to say sorry. So that's what the apologems refer to. And then it finally comes out of maintenance, and it's announcement for the end of service. And everybody was just devastated.
This was literal days after they showed a roadmap for like the coming year of, hey, in this month we're going to do this, followed by this, followed by this, and then maintenance and closure. It was really something else. I've never seen anything like that with a gacha game here.
Wow. So, all right, well, let's have a moment of silence, which will then be edited out when we edit out the silences. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, does anybody else have any final thoughts they want to talk about before we
final
thoughts?
huh?
Final thoughts. Yeah, it's like
Blue. You didn't have a final thought. Do you have a final thought?
My final flaw. My final thought is that I'm very happy that this game existed and that I was able to get as much from it as I did. I am definitely going to stay around the den, even though the game that got me to actually make my account is no longer alive.
Yeah, we're glad to have you around.
Thank you, Dragon Quest of the Stars. I am very sad that you are going to be gone.
It seriously brought a lot of us together. Like, honestly, like none of this would have happened if not for Dragon Quest of the Stars.
Exactly. It was a fun ride, and we made a lot of fun friends during our time. So it was good in the end.
Yeah, and I hope for the backup project, I hope people get as many screenshots as possible. I'm gonna go in now and take a shot of my Falcon Blade that I worked so hard to get, and then didn't use at all.
I'll make sure to tell Liquid Metal Slime this is the one we have to use.
Yeah, we've got about 10 days left to play it.
Yep, 10
Let's
exactly.
get some. I'll join in for some multiplayer with you guys.
We should totally do that.
I will be the
Man.
extremely weak guy with the Falcon Blade.
And it'll be great, and we'll laugh, and
I'm sure you guys will be like doing the majority of the work while I sit back and eat Cheetos.
Just defend every turn. We'll be okay.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode of Slime Time. We do want to thank everyone for joining.
And we don't use Patreon. We're just longtime fans that want to speak about the game series we know and love so much. If you have any money you would like to donate, head over to the Dragon's Den at www.woodus.com/den and click on Support This Site. Woodus has owned and maintained the Dragon's Den DQ fan site for over 20 years and would appreciate any donation. Or you can use his Amazon affiliate link to make any purchases, and a small fraction of the sale will go to support the Den.
For any questions, comments, or to advertise with us, you can reach out to us at slimetimepodcast@gmail.com.
If you have any comments or questions for us, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at DQ Slime Time.
Consider joining in tons of Dragon Quest discussions at the Dragon's Den forums, one of the few remaining DQ forums around. And I just lost my notes. Okay, hold on a second. Technical schmifficulties. Wow, really? I cannot get this back for some reason.
Oh, I got you. Find it from
Yeah, I
the Dragon's
appreciate
Den
that.
page. No. I got you. We got you. Find it from the Dragon's Den main page at www.woodus.com/forums. I know I'm always crazily posting there about what I'm playing and talking fan translations and stuff, or am I?
Or come hang out with us and tons of other rabid Dragon Quest fans at the Dragon's Den Discord server.
We'd like to thank everyone that made this possible, like Brian, aka Woodus, for his support of the series and this podcast and keeping the Dragon's Den lights on for literal decades.
Thanks to Amanda Lepre and the Descendants of Verdrick for allowing us to use their music for our podcast. Descendants of Verdrick is a video game tribute band from Austin, Texas. Check them out and their most recent album, Advent, at www.descendantsofverdrick.com or on Twitter at @DofVerdrick, or go see or check out Amanda Lepre streaming live on Twitch.
Thanks to Dwayne for the awesome artwork cover for this podcast. You can check out more of his artwork at Dwayne Art on Instagram or his website at dwayneBullockArt.BigCartel.com.
And if you are looking for more Dragon Quest Slime Time, check out our earlier episodes on Dragon's Den, Anchor.fm, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and more.
Bye everyone! Dragon Quest Slime Time, sliming off.